last time we were here, I read the Justice League of America, this awesome read-along. It used to come with a cassette back in the 1980s, something I've had since I was a little kid, which I love so much. And I have another one, which we'll do tonight. We'll do Wonder Woman tonight. But I also found, not only did I have DC, but actually I have a little bit of Marvel. So this is kind of a cool book, if anybody's seen these before. This was a series from a company called Ideals. I know, what's a cassette tape for all of you younger people? So this is from a company called Ideals. So not put out actually by Marvel, but obviously in conjunction with them, from Ideals Publishing Corp, which I think is pretty fascinating. And this book came out in 1981. So it's slightly younger than I am. And it's really interesting because what it is, essentially, it's a clip show of snippets of Captain America comics and then just text to fill in the blanks. And it starts off by saying the secret history of Marvel's star-spangled superhero by some dude named David Anthony Kraft, featuring the art of Jack Kirby, Frank Giacoia, and John Byrne, and the scripting of Stan Lee and Roger Stern. So clearly, Stan Lee has his fingerprints all over this, just like everything else. But it starts off and it says, Captain America, the man and the legend. We shall call you Captain America because, like you, America shall gain the strength and the will to safeguard our shores. Dr. Reinstein, Captain America #1, 1941. And then it just jumps into text. Can there be anyone who has not heard of Captain America? It is not likely. Ask anyone. Chances are you will find that even adults remember him from their own childhood. Yes, Captain America has been around for a long time. He is as vital today as he was during World War II when he was first created. But it was that particular era that truly shaped his destiny. So it's got a couple of pages of text, and then, of course, the iconic Captain America punching out Hitler. And then it just jumps right into a reprint of one of the old comics. Fighting the Red Skull for possession of the Cosmic Cube. This is one where, if you're not familiar with it, Red Skull changes his form into a bunch of different things to make it harder for Cap to fight him. Arsenal Roy, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't recognize the name. Eventually, Red Skull turns into this big armored form, and then Captain America, the thinking man's hero, he throws the cube into the water, and the Red Skull can't get out because he's wearing this big, heavy armor. So it's a cool little story. And then it jumps back into more text about the Red Skull and what he's been up to. Captain America's battle album. It lists off some of Cap's iconic villains. And it says, during World War II, Captain America did not fight many supervillains, at least not as we think of them today. He fought Nazis. In the early years of the war, he fought on the home front against saboteurs and spies. In the later years of the war, he could be seen at all the major beachheads and battlefields. But then it goes on to talk about AIM, MODOK even appears in here, Super Adaptoid, Baron Zemo, Batroc the Leaper. And this is the old version of Batroc the Leaper with a K. And it does mention his savate. So it gives you just a little bit. And then, again, we get another small reprint of a comic book. The really kind of wacky story of Namor being mad at these indigenous people for worshiping a figure in a block of ice and then throwing it, and it dissolves, and it is dun dun dun, it is Captain America. And then, of course, he's revived by the Avengers. He's confused. He doesn't know who he is. They fight, which is pretty cool. And then he has to go off and figure out what has happened. Comes back, realizes that they're good. We get some weird aliens, alien shapeshifters. Not the Skrulls, though. These are... Who are these people? It's these, broccoli-looking people. Oh, not a shapeshifter. He just pulled his face off. But anyway, aliens that help him realize who he is. And then he joins the Avengers, which is pretty cool. Then we get a little description of Avengers, the Earth's mightiest heroes. Yeah, cranky old man of the sea, exactly. We get Avengers. We get Falcon. At this point in time, there was no inkling in anybody's eye that Falcon might one day become Captain America himself. And then, of course, birth of a legend. So we get the actual origin story of Captain America with this super iconic art. I don't know if people really recall that in some of these early depictions that this is what Steve Rogers looked like a tiny old man. Kind of interesting. Yeah, what a timely book is. I know, and I was like, oh, I know this book is around somewhere. And then the process of giving him the super serum and irradiating him. Because again, it used to be hard to give someone the super serum, the super soldier serum. It wasn't as easy as just like finding a vial and just doing something with it off screen. And then we get the miraculous transformation itself into the big man. Dun dun dun. Oh, thank you very much. I'm just in StreamYard, so all the special commands. The old guy. Good. And then, of course, the saboteur, the assassin who kills Dr. Erskine and ruins it for everyone. Cap goes after him, blah, 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 blah. And then we get sort of a recap of everything that Captain America did between old-timey and the current time when the books came out. And then I love this ending. We've got, is there a more patriotic image in any comic book ever? I don't think so. Captain America looking to the future. America is at a great crossroads. The world is not as simple as it used to be. Maybe it was never as simple as it seemed. But evil is no longer as easy to recognize as it was when we were faced with a nation of inhumane Nazis. Today, events are faster paced and more complex. Boy, it's like they could have written it right now. Captain America knows that the situation in the world is different now, and he knows that to be a symbol of America, he must also be a symbol of the times. But one thing doesn't change. Captain America believes in people. He believes that human dignity and human liberty are precious. So there. Yeah. And then, because this was, I don't know, like I said, I don't know much about this company, the Ideals Publishing Corporation, I think it was. Ideals Publishing Corp, yeah. But it ends with a Now You Know section, and then a bunch of questions so you could quiz yourself based on how well you read the previous stories. When did Captain America first begin his fight against oppression? Why was he created at that time in history? And so on and so forth. And then, can you guess? Do you think there will ever come a time when Captain America's services are no longer needed in this world? What do you think would have to happen before the world could manage without the likes of our star-spangled friend? Oh, if we could only come up with that answer. And then we get the men behind Captain America with a small section for Joe Simon and Jack Kirby at the top. And then it appears to be a much larger section for Stan Lee, but it's just the first paragraph. And then this is about other people who have worked on the Cap books. It's not quite that grotesquely one-sided for Stan. But he does get his own section. Even though, he had nothing to do with Captain America. So yeah, a little bit of an interesting trip down memory lane. Apparently there were at least more books for Spider-Man, Hulk, and Fantastic Four. I don't know if these were published. I don't know how hard any of these are to find. I don't know if they did more than these. But yeah, Arsenal Roy. Stan Lee just jumping in and taking credit for every comic book that's ever been made. But that's cool. I got to show that to Hector, and he had never heard of that before. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, John Walker. I'm watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's okay. I'm not loving it, but it's okay. I did like this most recent episode. It had I like how they're basically like everybody's in the gray. The heroes, the villains. You can definitely see different sides to the story. Invincible is great. If you're not watching Invincible, I highly recommend that. So we have Wonder Woman, Cheetah on the Prowl. Yes, I do have a U.S. agent figure. It's in there. It's not an easy shelf to pick out a figure, but it is up there. I'll bring it out on Tuesday. And this book is from 1982, so just slightly less old than Captain America, and also slightly less old than me. So we'll go through and we will read this. Cheetah on the Prowl. Lots of really pretty pictures. Like I said before, the artwork in these books is so great. Illustrated by Ross Andrew, Dick Giordano, and Carl Gafford. And again, this is artwork it's from the era where, let me bring it up real quick because I always forget the name, which is sad because it's so good. DC Style Guide. Jose Garcia Lopez. So this is definitely in that era, that design element for DC heroes and locations and villains. Far from civilization, hidden deep within the Bermuda Triangle, there is an island unlike any other. It is called Paradise Island, and, true to its name, it is a paradise. Only women live on this island, a race of females who are as beautiful as they are powerful. They are called Amazons, and the gods who watch over them have taught them how to live peacefully and happily with one another. At the top of Paradise Island's highest peak stands a majestic temple. It was there that Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, called to the gods. Yeah, females. What are we, Ferengi? So there's Hippolyta calling to the gods. For many days, Queen Hippolyta had repeated her wish to Aphrodite, the beautiful goddess of love, but she never received a reply. Still, the noble queen refused to give up hope, and each day returned to her mountaintop temple. There she pleaded to the sky, "Please, O goddess, appear before me. There is something I need to ask of you. Please, your willing and faithful servant calls you." Suddenly, the cloud of smoke rising from the temple altar seemed to grow bigger, filling the room with billows of gray mist. Then a shadowy figure appeared in the center of the smoke. It was Aphrodite, the goddess of love. She had finally come. "Why do you call me now, Hippolyta, queen of my people?" the goddess asked. "I need to learn the secret of modeling life from the enchanted clay," the queen replied. "There are no children here on Paradise Island, and the Amazons will need a princess to rule this land when I am away." The misty figure hung silently in the air for a moment, thinking. Then the goddess spoke again. "Take the enchanted clay and model the figure of the child you want. When it is complete, I shall return to fulfill your wish." Then, in a swirl of smoke, the goddess vanished. Dun, dun, dun. Do we tip for voices or replacing words? I mean, excuse me. I won't say no. I'll just have to make sure I can see it because I'm in StreamYard and not in any of the other ones. I can open up actual Twitch, but that is purely at your up to you. There, whatever anybody would like to do is super fun. Always fun. Okay, make sure this is all working. As the days passed, Hippolyta worked long and hard on the clay statue of the child. Often she sculpted late into the night, making sure each detail on the figure was just right. "She will be my daughter," Hippolyta mused, "and someday she will be queen of the Amazons. She must be perfect." Her work finished, Hippolyta returned to the temple altar, placing the clay figure of the child in its center. Again, she prayed to the goddess of love. "Aphrodite, I have done as you have commanded. The child is complete, and she is very beautiful. Now, O goddess, please touch her with your gift of life. So sculpting and in the temple. Uh-oh. The figure on the pedestal seemed to change before the queen's astonished eyes. The clay seemed to soften, to ripple with life, as its color changed from a lifeless gray to a warm pink. Then it began to move. Goddess be praised, Hippolyta whispered in a thankful voice, as the happy child jumped from the pedestal into her mother's arms. Overjoyed, Hippolyta spoke to the child. You are my daughter, and one day you will be queen of Paradise Island. I shall name you Diana, after the goddess of the hunt. Your strength and beauty will be greater than that of any other Amazon. Although she was only minutes old, the little Amazon seemed to understand the queen's every word. And so we have the magic of the gods, turning clay to child and then leaping into her mother's arms. You know, Solkatu, that is an excellent question. And it refers to, by the start of this, Hippolyta refers to the sacred clay and that she's just asking how do I work this thing? So in theory, it's happened before, just not recently. And that's not a great answer, but seemingly there's something to this enchanted clay that in theory has been used before. It took only a short time for the women of Paradise Island to know and love the newest addition to their homeland. Hippolyta must be very proud of the young princess that Aphrodite has given her. Yes, the child grows stronger and more beautiful with each passing day. Indeed, the young Diana was a truly amazing Amazon. Within weeks of her arrival, she was already strong enough to uproot the mightiest tree. Boom. And the loyal and happy subjects of Paradise Island would often see her frolicking through the forest with the island's wildlife. The child could outrace the swiftest deer without even losing her breath. It was clear to all who witnessed each of the princess's astounding feats that she was destined to be the greatest Amazon they had ever known. So we get the frolicking with animals. It's like a Disney story. Years passed, and Princess Diana's intelligence, agility, and beauty increased by leaps and bounds. Before the women of Paradise Island knew it, their precious little princess had matured into a confident, independent woman. Although she did not yet wear the world-famous Wonder Woman costume, to the Amazons, she was a wonder just the same. And she goes from kid to beautiful young woman. Oh, where are we here? Bam! So take that. And yes, because this is a classic comic, it has a really awesome art style where black hair and black costuming is done in really dark blue. So cool. Some toys have that. Some toys are done that way, and it looks really neat. Then one day, something happened that would forever change the life of Princess Diana. An airplane mysteriously crashed into the churning waters just off the beautiful island's coast. Diana and a friend were standing on one of Paradise Island's many cliffs when the aircraft smacked into the sea with a thunderous force. Diana was startled, but what she saw next sent her into action. That plane, it's unlike any I've ever seen. Merciful Minerva, there's someone in there. Such a good line. Merciful Minerva. Floating on a piece of the plane's wreckage was the still body of its pilot. Head covered with a protective helmet, the fallen flyer did not move as the waves slapped angrily against the slowly sinking debris. She must be badly hurt, Diana shouted to her friend, her voice nervous, yet determined. We must help her. Then, without a pause, the courageous Amazon princess leapt from the cliff toward the violent waters below. I've got to save her before she drowns. Swimming against the swirling current, it took almost all of Diana's strength to reach the unconscious form. The Minerva, that man. Oh, that's good. I like that. With the pilot held tightly in one arm, Diana slowly swam toward shore. She's barely alive. I hope I can get back in time to save her. Once on the beach, Diana prepared to give the pilot artificial respiration. But when she removed the helmet, both Amazons were stunned. Why, she's not a woman at all! What kind of human is that? I think it's a man. Mother told me about them, but I've never seen one myself. He's quite handsome. But man or woman, we've got to get help. He's barely alive. I've never seen a man before, but there's some strange force attracting me to him. Without a moment's hesitation, Diana carried the pilot to the island's hospital. There, using advanced medical treatments and machinery, a team of Amazon doctors worked frantically to save the man's faltering life. The tags around his neck say his name is Steve Trevor, Diana said softly to the busy physicians. Please tell me, will he live? We're doing all we can to save him, one of the doctors replied, but he's swallowed a lot of water. We've done our best. The rest is up to him. The doctor looked up at Diana and saw the sorrow in her eyes. Princess, there's nothing you can do here, she said kindly. But Diana would not leave. I'd like to stay by his side if you don't mind, she said as she solemnly gazed at the still body of Colonel Steve Trevor. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do for him. All of our instruments are designed only for women. I have a question for those of you who have watched the Snyder Cut. And I haven't seen anybody talk about this online. This is super, super nerdy. Arsenal Roy, you may you may get this. In one of the scenes of the Amazons, what is it? It's one of the flashbacks to ancient Amazon stuff going on. The camera moves by and there's something in the background that's shining a light, and it's purple, or it looked purple, very slightly, of course, because there's barely any color in that freaking movie. Is that a reference to the purple ray of the Amazons? And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's just nerd stuff. Queen Hippolyta watched the scene unfolding in the hospital from the monitor in her throne room. She could not fail to notice the twinkle of love in Princess Diana's eyes. Deeply troubled, Hippolyta called to the goddess of love, asking for her guidance. The unspeakable has happened. For the first time in untold centuries, a man has come to Paradise Island. Already our lives have been changed. My daughter has begun to feel love for the one known as Steve Trevor. Aphrodite, has this man come to destroy our peaceful lives here? Yeah, no prince, only princesses. And I freaking love this depiction of, where are we? Hippolyta hanging out, lounging in her chair, watching some sort of TV screens embedded in a little thing that looks like an ancient temple. That's rad. Okay, Arsenal Roy, when you watch the Snyder Cut, be on the lookout for me. Let me know if I'm just imagining things. Yeah, dual monitor. She's a streamer, pro streamer. Suddenly, a cool, misty breeze swept through the room, and the goddess Aphrodite appeared. Be silent, my queen, and I shall put your fears to rest. I have sent the man called Steve Trevor to your island of Amazons, and with good reason. The world outside is torn with war and hate, and the future of the very planet is at stake. Steve Trevor will live to go back to his homeland, but he must be accompanied by your strongest and wisest subject. Select your champion, Hippolyta, for she must join mankind to combat all the evils that threaten to destroy the peace of the entire earth. But also, don't get up. You've got a goddess literally in the room with you. Just hang out. You stay there. Drink your wine. Amazon Prime. Good. And you will notice that the Wonder Woman stories mix up their Greek and Roman gods. We get a little of this, a little of that. We get Minerva, not Athena, which is a little odd. Maybe they couldn't think of anything to rhyme with Athena to give her like a fun slogan to say. The next day, Queen Hippolyta announced the contest to decide which Amazon would take Steve Trevor back to his homeland, a place called the United States. After the proclamation had been made, Hippolyta called Diana to her side. "Diana," she said sternly, "I forbid you to enter the tournament. It is your destiny to rule Paradise Island. If you were to win and leave with Colonel Trevor, your fellow Amazons might someday be left without a leader. I'm sorry, but my decision is final." Typical parent. But outside the throne room, Diana came up with an idea. "I hate to go against my mother's wishes, but I can't bear to let Steve Trevor return to his society with anyone but me. I'll disguise myself so Mother won't recognize me. Then I'll be able to enter the contest." Ideas. Athena, you should have seen her. Athena, you should have seen her. I like that one. The next morning, the games began. Trumpets blared as the group of competing Amazons entered the stadium. Each Amazon was proud to be a part of the contest, but as they walked by Hippolyta's throne, the queen noticed that one contestant wore a mask to hide her identity. No one knew that Princess Diana had entered the contest, and only a few noticed the mystery contestant among the other hopefuls, but soon every Amazon would wonder who she was. Okay, kids, can you find Diana in her disguise on this page? I'll give you a hint. She's wearing a disguise, a mask. Also, she has the coolest red boots on Paradise Island. And no one recognized her. As soon as the contests began, the audience knew that what the final outcome would be. The mystery contestant won every possible test, from wrestling and running to jousting and the boomerang toss. No other Amazon could come close to beating her in even a single event. This masked marvel was truly the Amazon champion. I don't know what the sort of Australian influence is on early Wonder Woman stories, because this isn't the first one. So here, I'll show you. Now here is the wild times. Now there have been kangaroos in Wonder Woman stories since the early days, but they're also competing with boomerangs. I don't know. There must be something to that. Or kangas, whatever they call those things. Cool. At the close of the contest, Hippolyta awarded the crown of victory to the masked champion. "Congratulations," the queen said. "You have proven yourself to be the strongest and most agile of all the Amazons. Now is the time to show us who you really are." With a flick of her wrist, Princess Diana removed her mask, revealing herself to the queen. "Daughter, it's you!" "Yes, mother," Diana answered, feeling guilty, yet determined to do what she thought was right. "I'm sorry, but this is something I have to do. I love Steve Trevor, and I must return to the United States with him. I know my happy life here with the Amazons is over, but it is now my duty to save the world from destruction." Oh, it's all for love. There's the reveal. With a flick of her wrist, all is revealed. Hippolyta thought for a moment, considering the courageous woman standing before her. Forcing back her sadness, the queen smiled weakly and spoke. "I am proud of you, Diana. You are truly our bravest Amazon. I made this costume for the winner to use when she journeyed to the United States. You have won the right to wear it with pride. There are other things I must give you, but first," she said, turning to the crowd, "let us celebrate!" With that, the Amazons lifted Diana onto their shoulders and paraded her proudly around the stadium. The spectators cheered wildly, "Hooray for Princess Diana! She's our champion! She is our Wonder Woman!" So it just so happens that Hippolyta made this costume. Boom. Yeah, no Artemis in this book, at least. And they parade her through the island. When the festivities were over, Diana received the gifts she would need in her battle against evil. First, Hippolyta gave her a magic lariat that would make any person roped within it follow the princess's every command. Then the queen pointed to the sky, where a beautiful transparent plane hovered silently over the assembled Amazons. And yes, it does say a beautiful transparent plane. Think on that one. You will use this robot plane to take Steve Trevor home. He is already inside. The plane cannot be seen by mortal eyes, and it makes no sound. You have but to give it an order, and it will obey. So that's a kind of a cool, slightly different depiction of the invisible plane than we get in more modern stories. This is the robot plane that is transparent. It makes no sound, and you can just command it to do whatever you want it to do. A tear began to form in Hippolyta's eye as Diana prepared to leave. She was going to miss her daughter. Her voice choked with emotion. The queen spoke for a final time. "From this day on, you will be known as Wonder Woman. Now go, my daughter. You have much work to do." She doesn't look too upset right there. Everyone's smiling. It's all good. And yes, there is the robot plane. Steve Trevor in there, all jacked up from that airplane crash. Oh, okay. Sorry, Arsenal Roy. Oh, I thought it was going to show up here, and it didn't. Dang, that's why. Okay, let me get out of this. But thank you for letting me know, so I can check it. Give me 1 second to log in over here. And it'll ask me for my cookies because it's a day that ends in Y. In moments, the robot plane was soaring high in the air. Wonder Woman looked back a final time to see a cheering crowd of Amazons wave goodbye. Perhaps this is the wrong thing I do, she thought to herself. Perhaps I do belong on Paradise Island. But one look at Steve Trevor lying silently at her side convinced her that she was doing the right thing. Boom. Because it's all about the love. Oh my goodness. Arsenal Roy, you got it. It shall be done. I should set a timer. Solkatu, let's not get hung up on translucent versus transparent. We'll be here all day. But yes, there's poor Steve Trevor looking all the worse for wear. And she looks over and she's like, God damn it, I love this man who I just, well, not even met. I've just seen what he looks like. I must go with him. Soon, the robot plane was hovering above an army hospital in a city called Washington, D.C. With Steve Trevor in her arms, the Amazon princess jumped from the plane. Floating down on the air currents, she landed softly on the hospital lawn. The hospital staff didn't know what to make of this flying woman, but when she said, "This man needs your help," they rushed to assist her. Now, I do have to say, for all of like the women, you know, Wonder Woman immediately falling in love with the man and all that kind of stuff, the story, so far it's women kicking ass, saving people. I mean, look at this image of the male hero, you know, being brought down by Wonder Woman to be saved, rescued. That's cool. I can dig it. But then you get art like this. Yeah. So it's, you know, it was still the very early 80s when this was written. Okay, so thanks to a donation, and you too can change a word or a phrase or a title if you'd want. With Colonel Trevor in good hands, Jessica Verdi was free to begin her mission. But she still wanted to be near the man she loved. After some thought, she decided, I'll become an army nurse. That way, I can see Steve Trevor every day and still be free to combat evil. Now, in the identity of Lieutenant Diana Prince, Jessica Verdi was able to watch Steve's condition improve and, as his nurse, could check on him daily. Soon, Trevor was smiling and talking to Diana, mostly about the television reports he had seen and his own faint memories of the superheroine who had brought him to the hospital. Isn't Jessica Verdi wonderful? He would say to Diana, never knowing that he was talking to the amazing Amazon in person. And here we got the jokester lying in bed. And her small attempt at disguise. After he recovered, Steve prepared to leave the hospital. Well, I guess this is it, Diana. Just then, Steve had an idea. Say, how would you like to come be my assistant? I could use someone like you. I mean, you're no Jessica Verdi, but what mortal woman is? Diana simply smiled and in a quiet voice said, I'll take it. Woof. I don't know what's worse, the original dialogue or the dialogue now. Within months, Diana had been promoted to captain. She was proud of herself. Now she was a success in both the world of the Amazons and in the world of man. You can do it. Steve escorted her to her new office. Well, Captain, here it is, he proclaimed. But don't get too comfortable. We're off to Montana on an intelligence mission. Be ready to fly in 15 minutes. So it's Captain now. She's gone up the ranks incredibly quickly. And good for her. Thanks. Before Diana even knew what was happening, she and Steve were whisked off on a jet bound for a secret destination in the wilds of Montana. As they prepared to land, Diana gasped in awe at the spectacular sight that was spread out before her eyes. The white concrete buildings of Marsden Air Force Base reflected the early morning sun, sending shafts of light back into the crisp blue sky. The walls of a newly built dam, restraining tons of water, loomed over the military installation. Bam. Look at that magnificent Montana. Only a few top officers were aware of the base's existence, and even they were unsure of what went on here. The whole thing was a mystery, and Diana was curious. As Diana and Steve got off the plane, a man in a general's uniform rushed up to greet them. Diana could see that the general was very upset. That's General Peters, Steve whispered to Diana, but I've never seen him look so disorganized before. Something big must be up. Something that the general couldn't handle himself. Sure enough, as the general escorted Steve and Diana through the base, he told them of the series of disasters that had perplexed everyone. Someone's been destroying our new test planes, the general said nervously. We call them Dynasonics, and they are designed to be the fastest planes ever built, but they're getting blown up before we can test them. We've tried to stop the saboteurs, but nothing seems to work. I can't trust anyone, not even the soldiers guarding the Dynasonic. I'm at the end of my rope! I need you to capture the saboteurs. I want you to personally guard the Dynasonic. You'll have men guarding the runway outside, but I don't want anyone except you two in the hangar with that plane. So we've got poor General here, and our first glimpse of the Dynasonic. Late that night, Jessica Verdi was paid a visit to the hangar where the Dynasonic was kept. She knew Steve was supposed to be guarding the huge aircraft, but when she arrived, Steve appeared to be sleeping. Wonder Woman, Jessica Verdi, was worried. Steve was a top intelligence officer. He would never fall asleep while on duty. This must be the work of the saboteurs, she thought, but the Dynasonic is still safe and sound. Puzzled as she was, the Amazon princess did not have time to think about this strange new development. She had to make sure Steve was safe. She was so concerned that she did not notice a mysterious figure slinking out of the airplane hangar. Look at that. Steve sleeping on the job. But what's this? Yeah, no, he's dead. He's gone. Just murdered in the sleep. I also like that Wonder Woman here is just kind of like floating in midair. Sure. Why not? I mean, she could be like Wonder Woman in the movie. Can she fly? Can she not fly? What the hell's going on here? Who knows? Who knows? Steve, are you all right? What happened here? With the skill of a trained nurse, Jessica Verdi brought the Colonel back to consciousness. Steve's eyelids began to flutter as he awoke. He groaned in pain. Diana was relieved that Steve was not seriously injured, despite the large bruise on the back of his head. Oh, my head hurts. Someone must have hit me. Knocked me out. The Dynasonic, is it? It's still here, Steve. I must have frightened the saboteurs away when I walked in. Just then, the cool night air was pierced by a series of high-pitched screams. That noise, it sounds like someone's in trouble. You'd better investigate. I'll be able to guard the Dynasonic now. Steve waking up, ready to finally do his duty. As Jessica Verdi streaked out of the hangar, she noticed that the soldiers General Peters had assigned to guard the runway were nowhere to be seen. I hope Steve can watch the Dynasonic by himself, because I can't ignore the screams coming from those barracks over there. Even if it means leaving the Dynasonic practically unguarded. Well, I mean, you're leaving it guarded by Steve. In seconds, the Amazon princess reached the building from which the noises were coming from and burst through the door. That Wonder Woman means business. She is just head down. She's going for it. Inside, she was confronted by a shocking sight. The group of soldiers assigned to guard the runway were being held hostage by a pack of ferocious mountain lions. The savage cats clawed and growled at the helpless soldiers, who could do nothing more than wave sticks and chairs at the felines and scream for help. Great Hera! Those men are bound to get hurt, unless I act quickly. That skylight, it's their only chance. Boom. And here again we have Hera, so we have Greek gods. I don't like letting these men think I'm running out on them, but I've got no choice. Without apparent reason, Jessica Verdi slammed the barrack door shut, leaving the frightened men trapped inside. As she summoned her Amazon strength for a graceful leap to the roof of the building, she thought to herself, I don't understand it. Mountain lions usually run away at the very sight of humans and would never come down from the mountains to attack them. There's something wrong here. Once on the roof, the Amazon princess peered through the skylight. In the room below, the cats were climbing onto the table where the defenseless soldiers stood huddled in fear. There was no time to lose. In a single motion, she shattered the rooftop window. Boom! Standing above the panicked soldiers, Jessica twirled her magic lasso through the smashed skylight in a wide loop. As if with a life of its own, the golden linked lariat descended, pulling itself tight around the frightened men. Then, with a single tug, she pulled the entire group of men up and onto the barrack roof. Thanks, Jessica, one of the soldiers exclaimed. We were guarding the runway when we saw someone sneaking into this barrack, but when we got here, it was empty. We were about to return to our posts when the cats greeted us at the door. This has to be the work of the saboteur, Jessica Verdi replied. I'd better get back to Steve and the Dynasonic. Just then, a sonic boom broke through the stillness of the night. Look, a soldier shouted. It's the Dynasonic. It's been stolen. Suffering Sappho! Jessica exclaimed as the top secret plane flew off into the distance. And yes, it is, in caps, Suffering Sappho. Suffering Succotash. Suddenly, the truth was all too obvious. The mountain lions had been a carefully planned diversion to get both her and the soldiers away from the hangar so the saboteur could once again attempt to steal the Dynasonic. Come on, I mean, it's like crime 101 here. Immediately, the mighty Amazon summoned her robot plane. Seconds later, she climbed onto its hanging ladder, shouting back to the safe but stranded soldiers, "Sorry, fellows, you'll have to get off the roof by yourself. I've got a plane to catch." Tough luck. Once inside the invisible plane, the Amazon princess made radio contact with the hijacked aircraft. Hold on, I have a saboteur of my own. Hey, hold up. What are you doing, buddy?
Benjamin. I want to watch, but I just scoot back.
Well, there's no chair over there. It's not where you go.
I know. I'm going to stand.
You're going to stand. Okay.
Benjamin, it's time for bed. Yeah, come on. It's time for bed.
Everyone say goodnight to Benjamin as he lurks behind me. Like as though crawling behind me is going to make it so that they don't see him. Okay, everybody says goodnight, Benjamin.
Good night.
Good night. Wonder Woman to Dynasonic, come in! A crackling noise came over the invisible plane speakers. Then a voice spoke. It was a woman's voice, and it cackled with evil glee. "Hello, Wonder Woman!" the voice hissed. "This is the Cheetah speaking. I've got the Dynasonic, and I'm afraid that you're a little too slow to stop me." Angrily, Wonder Woman replied to the Cheetah's boast, "Sorry, Cheetah, I don't give up that easily. Besides, my plane was built by a highly advanced technology, and even now I'm gaining on you." But the Cheetah was not impressed. "Well then," she smirked. Can't see the smirk. "Come on over. I only hope you don't get more than you bargained for. You see, Wonder Woman, when it comes to destroying Dynasonics, I'm batting 1,000. Okay. And here we get our first really good glimpse of this massive, crazy aircraft known as the Dynasonic. Benjamin is 6.5. Going on 25. Slowly but surely, the robot plane advanced on the Dynasonic. With a final burst of speed, the amazing aircraft swooped down, landing firmly on the stolen plane's roof. As the wind howled mercilessly around her, Jessica Verdi climbed out of the robot plane's cockpit. She had never ordered the robot plane to go this fast before, but the plane had done its job. Now it was time for Wonder Woman to do her job. Steeling herself, she stepped out onto the Dynasonic's roof. If anybody else would like to donate to change a word or a phrase, you can. I'll do it for a little while. So look, she's landed the robot plane. Now I've got the Dynasonic 4 engines going. The thing is completely, like, epically massive. I don't know if it's based on any... I assume it's based on some sort of real plane, but I don't recognize it. I'm not an expert on airplanes. The amazing Amazon was determined to get to the Dynasonic's cockpit to confront the villainous saboteur. The wind was so fierce that it took all her strength to do it. Reaching the front of the Dynasonic, Wonder Woman shouted down to her foe, "This game of yours is just about over, Cheetah." But the Cheetah had an ace up her sleeve. "I don't think so, Wonder Woman. You see, I'm going to be leaving soon, but I'd like you to meet a new friend of mine. Perhaps he can entertain you." Wonder Woman heard a loud click. Who is it in the cockpit with the cheetah? Spoilers.
Mommy?
Hold it. Instantly, the hatch of the plane blew open, propelling the ejection-seated cheetah into the air. Wonder Woman was about to call her robot plane to pursue the villainess when she heard a cry for help coming from inside the plane. Wonder Woman, help me! The Amazon princess recognized the voice. It was Steve Trevor. Not my boyfriend, Steve Trevor. As Wonder Woman tugged him out of the cockpit, Steve Trevor explained what had happened. The cheetah was the one who knocked me out. After you left to save those men, she returned and kidnapped me to pilot the Dynasonic. She's planted a bomb on it somewhere, and it's set to go off any second now. There's no time to defuse it, so let's get out of here fast. Hang on, Steve. We'll be out of here in no time. I hope so, because that's all the time we have. Steve is, he's pretty helpless. Pretty useless, you might say.
Now the oven. Hello.
Hi. You saying goodnight?
Good night.
Good night, little monsters. And now there too. No sooner had Steve scrambled aboard the robot plane than the Dynasonic exploded into 1,000 metal fragments. The noise was deafening, but when it died down, the sky was completely silent. I mean, okay, come on. Come on. Come on, both of you. Come on.
On camera, like what?
Come on, come on. Just no one's if no one reports me.
Okay.
Come on.
Yes.
Wave everybody.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi. Look up there, that's the camera.
Hi.
Where's Benjamin? Come on, buddy. Right there, yeah, you see him? You see because you can see where you are right there. It's Benjamin, because there's the camera up there. And that's the microphone, so they can hear us. We can't hear them, though. We can just read what they're saying. Do you have anything to say to them?
I have something to say
You have something to say?
about Super Wings.
You have something to say about Super Wings, your favorite show?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to say?
I like Super Wings.
You like Super Wings. Cool. What movie did you watch tonight?
Yamba?
Labyrinth? Mm-hmm. Did you like it?
No. Valley.
No, you didn't like it? Not really?
I don't like music or talking part.
You didn't like the music or the talking parts?
Yeah.
Oh, that's most of the movie. Well, would you maybe watch it again one day? Maybe when you're a little older? Maybe you'll like it then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
My older man won't like it.
You'll like it when you're older?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, can you say goodnight to everybody?
Good night, Devin. Good night.
Okay. I love you. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Say bye.
Bye.
Benjamin, you want to say goodnight? Whoa. Where are you? Benjamin, you're being shy? Not usually. That's the Benjamin we know. Okay.
Won't say night.
Well, no, we have to say goodnight now. Now they're doing the creep in. Okay, close that up. All right, you're welcome. I don't know, and there was some streamer was just talking about having his kids on, and I don't know. I don't know if the rules are. Obviously, the rules for stuff like that are flexible, you might say. I know, right? I'm just gonna be cut off. You're out. Yeah, those are the faces to all the little noises. Max's little voice saying things. It's like, yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be. Chris will be in there putting them to bed for a while. Yeah, I know. Like I said, the terms of service rules for as far as children, like, because you're not supposed to be, technically you can't sign up for a Twitch membership or even a Twitch login unless you're 13 or 14, and then so technically you're not supposed to be on Twitch if you're younger than that. But it's, whatever. Who knows? And as many of you have reminded me, the more popular, and like I said, I don't know exactly. And the more popular you are, the more you can disregard certain rules. So like we Benjamin used to come on with me when I was at Geek and Sundry years ago, and he would come on to our shows, and nobody there seemed to mind. And yeah. Oh yeah, Peg Drunk, the thump 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 thump. So anyway, my kids, everybody. Hey, I mean, if I can have them on stream, I'll do that all the time, because I think that's the moneymaker right there. Yeah, I like I said, it's who knows? It's complicated with. I'll read the TOS again with a fine tooth comb and see what it says these days. Okay, back to the story. Yeah, so the plane exploded. We've failed. The Dynasonic's been destroyed, Steve groaned. The Dynasonic is gone, Wonder Woman shouted up at the distraught Colonel. But perhaps I can capture the Cheetah before she does any more damage. Thanks, everybody. Oh, and thank you so much, Velvet. Yeah, I don't have notifications. Actually, I don't even know why I'm wearing these. I'm killing... No sounds are coming through. I don't need to keep those on. Yes, so Steve is... That's true, yeah. Janelle and Andy always have their kids on. Steve is groaning in distress. They've failed. But Wonder Woman's like, yeah, well, plane's gone, but I'm going to go after the Cheetah. From her perch on the robot plane's rope ladder, Wonder Woman peered downward, her eyes searching across a scenic landscape beneath her. Before long, she spotted a slowly descending parachute in the distance. That has to be the Cheetah, Wonder Woman thought. If I hurry, I might catch her before she escapes into the woods. Commanding the robot plane to take Steve back to the base, Wonder Woman leapt off the rope ladder. From his seat, Steve watched with admiration as the beautiful Amazon skillfully glided on the air currents down toward the ground. Good luck, Wonder Woman, Steve murmured as the robot plane steered itself back to the base. Yeah, so not only is Steve, he just got beaten up. He missed out on the action of the Cheetah stealing the plane. He needs to be rescued from the plane. He is complaining and groaning and sad, but Wonder Woman chucks him onto her plane and just leaves him and says, take him back to the base, and she goes flying off. I'm sure he appreciates the view as she's falling down away from the airplane there. Drifting downward, Wonder Woman saw no sign of the Cheetah. The villainess had vanished. But then, the amazing Amazon saw something that seemed out of place in the wild countryside. There, in a small clearing, lay the Cheetah's abandoned parachute. Big and white in the moonlight, it stood out like a target for the Amazon princess to land on. And if the parachute was here, then the Cheetah could not be far away. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, Steve is totally a himbo. Yeah, for sure. As the amazing Amazon inspected the tattered remains of the parachute, she heard someone, or something, approaching through the woods. Cautiously, she looked up and found herself eye to eye with 4 ferocious mountain lions. Look at that. Her Amazon senses are tingling. Merciful Minerva! This has got to be the Cheetah's work. Wonder Woman thought as the beasts warily circled her, getting ready to attack. These poor animals were lured here by the Cheetah to help her in her evil scheme. I won't hurt them, but I can do this. At super speed, Wonder Woman whipped out her magic lasso, swinging it high over the pack of confused cats. The golden rope seemed alive as it shimmered in the moonlight, glowing with Amazon magic. Then, in a blur of motion, the Amazon princess ensnared each of the ferocious felines, ordering them to go to sleep. A few minutes later, all four were dreaming peacefully. But this diversion had bought the cheetah the time she needed to cover her tracks. Wonder Woman searched for the villainess, but could find her nowhere. Look at that super speed. Got him. Go to sleep, kitties. Velvet, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate that. So you see, General, although we have not yet captured the cheetah, we now know just who our saboteur is and can work to prevent her from getting the last Dynasonic. Wonder Woman sounded confident as she spoke, but the General was still angry. The fact remains, the General barked, his face pale and tired, that you failed in your mission, Trevor. Failed in your mission, Trevor, and now we have only one Dynasonic left to test. I gave Captain Prince permission to search the countryside for the cheetah's hideout this morning, so you'll have to keep things under control here. I want no bungling this time, Colonel. As the General continued to shout at Steve, Wonder Woman looked around at the enormous assembly plant. All around her, welders, machinists, carpenters, mechanics, and other craftsmen were doing their jobs at a frantic pace, each adding their own sound to the noisy symphony that filled the room. I ordered the men to speed up the production of the new Dynasonic, General Peters said, so our final test plane should be ready by tomorrow. His voice trailed off as a mysterious voice, or his words, rather. His words trailed off as a mysterious voice boomed over the PA system. Attention, the voice said. I demand your attention. So we see again this just absolute heckin' chunker of a plane. Defund the Dynasonics. I know, they have the budget to just keep cranking them out at a pretty insane clip. I demand your attention. All the workers stopped what they were doing. They looked stunned. I am called the Cheetah, the voice said, without a trace of emotion. And I have an important announcement to make. Trevor, do something, General Peters growled. No one moved. No one, that is, except Wonder Woman, who bolted towards the factory doors. She's broadcasting from somewhere on the base, the Amazon shouted, and I've got to capture her before she makes her next move. Again, Steve just kind of hanging out. Wonder Woman is off to save the day. Outside from a guard tower next to the huge dam overlooking the compound, the Cheetah began her message to the people of Marsden Air Force Base. For many years, man has tried to destroy his environment. Air, water, and noise pollution get worse every day. I, the Cheetah, have had enough of this. The Dynasonic is the fastest and loudest plane ever built. Its aggravating vibrations and the sonic boom it makes frighten my animal friends. So I destroyed your dangerous planes. So now we have the Cheetah as eco-terrorist. But her message is certainly one we can... Cheetah was right. But there is an even greater ecological menace here, and it is right in front of your pitiful eyes. It is the dam overlooking your base. It has endangered many forms of wildlife. It has forced the animals to go upstream where food is not as plentiful, and it has blocked the river waters that once fed so many beautiful trees. I intend to avenge the injustices you have brought upon nature. In 10 seconds, your precious dam will explode. And then finally, our first actual glimpse of the Cheetah. Hot. She's just trying to protect all the animals and the trees. Suddenly, a huge explosion rocked the base. Great chunks of the concrete dam shot outward, each slab a dangerous missile large enough to destroy a part of the defenseless compound. But this was only a minor problem compared to what would happen next. As the base personnel stared in wide-eyed horror, a torrent of angry white water began rushing through the enormous hole that the explosion had made in the dam, threatening the lives of everyone on the base. Okay, Velvet, we'll be here. Gliding high above the dam, Wonder Woman searched for a solution. She noticed the cracks in the remaining dam wall, and that's pretty great. That dam wall, and knew that at any moment the entire dam might collapse, instantly submerging the whole compound. She watched in horror as the churning water rushed up to the jagged hole in the dam, struggling to smash apart the remains of the once mighty walls. The peaceful lake had been transformed into a raging river, almost alive in its determination to break through the concrete walls and begin a rampage of watery destruction. Whew. It's a hell of a sentence. But then, Wonder Woman found the solution. Suffering Sappho, the answer's right in front of me. Can anybody guess what the solution is? And yes, in Montana, the water is green. Faster than the eye could follow, Wonder Woman looped her magic lariat around the summit of a barren mountain looming over the dam. Then she pulled, using every ounce of her fabled strength. At first, nothing seemed to be happening, but soon the mountaintop began to groan and quake as the lariat ripped it free from its very base. Swinging the craggy peak high in the sky, Wonder Woman spun around, snapping the lariat like a whip. The mountaintop flew toward the dam, where it crashed right into the gaping hole, plugging up the waterfall that threatened to destroy the compound. Behind the dam wall, the waters swirled about in confusion, and on the other side, only a few drops could be seen trickling through. A perfect fit, Wonder Woman declared proudly. High above the compound, she could hear the entire base breathe a sigh of relief. With the threat ended, it was time for the Amazon princess to turn her sights to the cause of the near disaster. So we have her picking up the mountain and slamming it into place. Perfect fit. We are getting near the end of this story. Now it's time to bag the cheetah. As Wonder Woman approached the guard tower, she spotted the cheetah trying to make her getaway. The cheetah did not pause to look back as the amazing Amazon gracefully landed on the tower ledge. She knew she was beaten. Her plan to destroy the base had failed, and as she felt the links of the magic golden lasso pull tight against her arms, all hope of escape was gone. Wait a second, Cheetah. You're not going anywhere except to a nice cage in a federal jail. As Wonder Woman and her captured foe descended to the foot of the dam, they were greeted by Steve Trevor, a very relieved General Peters, and a platoon of cheering soldiers. 3 cheers for Wonder Woman, they cried. Hip hip hooray! Later, Wonder Woman, the General, and Steve Trevor decided what should be done with the cheetah. Because, justice is just, meting out whatever punishment they decide. Of course, the General said, she must stand trial. But some of the things she said made sense. Her ideas might not be wrong, but using force never convinces me to change my opinions. Wonder Woman then spoke to the cheetah. It's okay to fight for what you believe in, but you have to make sure you don't hurt others when you do it. If you do, no one will listen to your ideas, no matter how good they might be. Let that be a lesson to you, kids. Soon, Wonder Woman decided it was time to leave. Take care of yourself, Steve Trevor shouted as the amazing Amazon boarded her plane. We'll see you soon, I hope. Wonder Woman smiled to herself. Steve would be seeing her very soon indeed. But it would be as Diana Prince, Air Force Captain, rather than as Princess Diana, the Wonder Woman. As soon as Diana returned, Steve told her it was time to go. You missed all the action, he told her. When Wonder Woman dropped that mountaintop into the dam, you have no idea. Oh, I think I get the picture, Colonel. But listen, sir, might I ask you for a small favor? What's that, Diana? Well, I've been out hunting the cheetah in the woods all morning, and I haven't had a drop to drink. Could I get a glass of water? Water? Oh, no, Steve groaned. Diana simply smiled. So yeah, it ends on a bit of a groaner there. So we have deciding the cheetah's fate, saying goodbye to Wonder Woman, and They're about to go on their next big adventure, it looks like. So if you were here last time and remember, or the time before, apparently, when I don't even remember it, this book is far superior. Just in the basic structure of the story, the action is better. It's so much better. This one's all right, and there's some little parts of it that are really nice and cute, but it's like, what the hell? What is going on in the story? And then there's not even an actual, like, they don't fight at all, Wonder Woman and the Cheetah. And again, they don't have to, but it's all about these airplanes, and then it's about the dam, and I don't know. I don't think this one is quite as good. But did that one have 2 mountain lion attacks? Well, sadly, no. Just a bunch of traps on an orbiting satellite base. I haven't looked. I assume someone's probably posted the original recording of this on YouTube. There is one for this. It's really grainy and the audio is terrible, but this one is out there on YouTube if you want to listen to it. Or on YouTube is me reading it the last time, so you could listen to that if you wanted. Again, I don't recognize any of the names of the voice actors, so I don't know if these were like voice actors doing TV stuff at the time, or if it was just whatever company was cranking out these read-along books. Who knows? But yeah, that is Wonder Woman Cheetah on the Prowl from 1982. Cool.